Hello, boys and girls, and welcome to Storytime with Spencer. Today, I'm reading the 8th Rower Series book, Gordon the Big Engine, and the first stories are Off the Rails and Leaves. Off the Rails. Gordon was resting in a siding. Beep, 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 beep. Hello, fat face, whistled Henry. What cheek, spluttered Gordon. That Henry is too big for his wheels. Fancy speaking to me like that. Me, he went on, letting off steam. Me, who has never had an accident. Aren't jammed whistles and burst safety valves accidents? Asked Percy innocently. No, indeed, said Gordon huffily. High spirits might happen to any engine, but to come off the rails, well, I ask you, is it right? Is it decent? A few days later, it was Henry's turn to take the express. Gordon watched him getting ready. Be careful, Henry, he said. You're not pulling the flying kipper now. Mind you keep on the rails today. Henry snorted away. Gordon yawned and went to sleep. But he didn't sleep long. Wake up, Gordon, said his driver. A special train's coming and we're to pull it. Gordon opened his eyes. Is it coaches or trucks? Trucks, said his driver. Trucks, said Gordon crossly. Pah! They lit Gordon's fire and oiled him ready for the run. The fire was sulky and wouldn't burn, but they couldn't wait, so Edward pushed him to the turntable to get him facing the right way. I won't go, grumbled Gordon. Don't be silly, puffed Edward. Gordon tried hard, but he couldn't stop himself being moved. At last he was on the turntable. Edward was uncoupled and backed away, and Gordon's driver and fireman jumped down to turn him round. The movement had shaken Gordon's fire. It was now burning nicely and making steam. Gordon was cross and didn't care what he did. He waited till the table was halfway round. I'll show them, he hissed, and moved slowly forward. He only meant to go a little way, just far enough to jam the table and stop him turning as he had done once before. But he couldn't stop himself, and slithering down the embankment, he settled in a ditch. Whoosh! He hissed as his wheels churned the mud. Get me out! Get me out! Not a hope, said his driver and fireman. You're stuck, you silly great engine. Don't you understand that? They telephoned the Fat Controller. So Gordon didn't want to take the special and ran into a ditch, he answered from his office. What's that you say? The special's waiting? Tell Edward to take it, please. And Gordon? Oh, leave him where he is. We haven't time to bother with him now. A family of toads croaked crossly at Gordon as he lay in the mud. On the other side of the ditch, some little boys were chattering. Coo, doesn't he look silly? We'll never get him out. They began to sing. Silly old Gordon, fill in the ditch, fill in the ditch, fill in the ditch. Silly old Gordon, fill in the ditch, all on a Monday morning. The school bell rang, and still singing, they chased down the road. Pshaw, said Gordon, and blew away 3 tadpoles and an inquisitive newt. Gordon lay in the ditch all day. "Oh dear," he thought, "I shall never get out." But that evening they brought floodlights. Then, with powerful jacks, they lifted Gordon and made a road of sleepers under his wheels to keep him from the mud. Strong wire ropes were fastened to his back end, and James and Henry, pulling hard, at last managed to bring him to the rails. Late that night, Gordon crawled home, a sadder and wiser engine. Leaves. Two men were cleaning Gordon. "Mind my eye," Gordon grumbled. "Shut it, silly. Did ever you see such mud, bird?" "No, I never have." "You ought to be ashamed, Gordon, giving us extra work." The hosing and scrubbing stopped. Gordon opened one eye, but shut it quickly. "Wake up, Gordon," said the Fat Controller sternly, "and listen to me. You will pull no more coaches till you are a really useful engine." So Gordon had to spend his time pulling trucks. Goods trains, he muttered. He felt his position deeply. "That's for you, and you, and you," Gordon said crossly. "Oh, oh, oh, oh!" screamed the trucks as he shunted them about the yard. "Trucks will be trucks," said James, watching him. "They won't with me," snorted Gordon. "I'll teach them. Go on." And another truck scurried away. "They tried to push me down the hill this morning," Gordon explained. "It's slippery there. You'll probably need some help." "I don't need help on hills," said James huffily. Gordon laughed and got ready for his next train. James went away to take the express. "Slippery hills indeed," he snorted. "I don't need help." Come on," he puffed. All in good time," grumbled the coaches. The train was soon running nicely, but a distant signal checked them close to Gordon's Hill. Gordon's Hill used to be bleak and bare. Strong winds from the sea made it hard to climb. Trees were planted to give shelter, and in summer the trains run through the leafy avenue. Now autumn had come, and dead leaves fell. The wind usually puffed them away, but today rain made them heavy, and they did not move. The home signal showed clear, and James began to go faster. He started to climb the hill. I'll do it, he puffed confidently. Halfway up, he was not so sure. I must do it, he panted despairingly. But try as he would, his wheel slipped on the leaves, and he couldn't pull the train at all. What's the matter? He gasped. Steady, old boy, steady, soothed his driver. His fireman put sand on the rails to help him grip, but James's wheels spun so fast that they only ground the sand and leaves to slippery mud, making things worse than before. The train slowly stopped. Then, "Help! Help! Help!" whistled James, for though his wheels were turning forwards, the heavy coaches pulled him backwards, and the whole train started slipping down the hill. His driver shut off steam, carefully put on the brakes, and skillfully stopped the train. He sat down and mopped his face. "I've never known that happen before." "I have," said the fireman, "and Bingham Tunnel, Southern Region." The guard poked his head in the cab. "Now what?" he asked. "Back to the station," said the fireman, taking charge, "and send for a banker." So the guard warned the signalman, and they brought the train safely down. But Gordon, who had followed with a goods train, saw what had happened. Gordon left his trucks and crossed over to James. "I thought you could climb hills," he chuckled. James didn't answer. He had no steam. "Oh well, we live and learn," said Gordon. "We live and learn. Never mind, little James," he went on kindly. "I'm going to push behind. Whistle when you're ready." James waited till he had plenty of steam. Then, "Beep, beep," he called. "Poop, poop, poop." "Pull hard," puffed Gordon. "We'll do it," puffed James. "Pull hard." "We'll do it," the engines puffed together. Clouds of smoke and steam towered from the snorting engines as they struggled up the hill. "We can do it," puffed James. "We will do it," puffed Gordon. The greasy rails sometimes made Gordon's wheels slip, but he never gave up, and presently they reached the top. "We've done it! We've done it!" they puffed. Gordon stopped. "Poop, poop," he whistled. "Goodbye." "Beep, beep, beep, beep." "Thank you. Goodbye," answered James. Gordon watched the coaches wistfully till they were out of sight. Then slowly he trundled back to his waiting trucks. The end. See you next time as I read another story of Thomas and his friends. Bye for now. Not affiliated with Thomas and Friends or any book publishers, but we are simply fans and love Thomas the Tank Engine and his friends.